Hello, hello. Hi, everyone. Who have we got today? Well, we've got Daria and we've got Ulrika. I'm expecting this stream to be a bit quiet. 3 p.m. on a Saturday afternoon is probably not the best time to have a stream, but it is just the only free time that I have. So hello to Daria, who's joined us from over in the States. Excuse me. We've got Ulrika and we've got Colouring with Dee. Hi Dee, how are you? So I'm very thankful to have you in the chat today. So it might be quite a quiet stream. If it doesn't pick up much more than this, I'll probably stop after an hour, as I'm sure you can understand. However, if we do get a few more joining us, not exciting stuff. First of all, beverages today. I have some Pepsi Max. Since I've drastically cut down my drinking. I've been having Jack Daniels and Pepsi Max minus the Jack Daniels, so I've got a little bit of that. I just fancied something a little bit fancier today because it's Saturday. I do have my usual diluting type stuff. This is like berry flavoured, and you add water to it. It's very nice, but I drink this all the time and I'm getting a bit fed up. And these are pint glasses. I've got to keep hydrated. So I thought I'd bring in the Pepsi just for funsies this afternoon. So yeah, I've got the bottle behind me just in case I need any more. So that is the beverages. The other exciting thing that has happened this week is that I have been to the optician and I have picked up my spectacles. So these are now going to be my secret weapon. I only need them for reading. And I have found that the main time that I'm struggling is in low light when I'm doing detail work, when I'm drawing or colouring or that kind of thing. So I will be putting them on today to see how much of a difference it makes. I've found reading in bed at night is so much better. I tried them last night and I was like, oh my god, I can see this is amazing. If things are a little bit further away, because my eyesight's not that bad, it is very, very, the optician called it a small prescription, and I'm like, right, okay. So even my laptop screen's far enough away that I don't need them. It tends to be like small print and low light. So anyway, we're going to try these today, and I'll tell you if it helps, but I've noticed it most. I've been filming a little bit in the Rita Berman colouring book, and I've been struggling with the light and I've found it really difficult to stay in the lines. So these are my new spectacles. We'll see how we go. They're actually like a really dark teal colour. I don't know how well you can see that. I didn't want plain black frames, but I didn't want like a really outrageous colour, cool as they look, because then it wouldn't match anything. But I thought a muted colour like that. So it is kind of like Colour Cave colours. It's just dark. So yeah, quite pleased with that actually. So we'll see how we go with those. I'm quite excited about that today. Also, it was my birthday earlier on in the week. I want to thank everyone who's probably not in the stream that gave me lots of birthday wishes. It was very, very nice. Hi, Cal. How are you? But I'm really pleased that Daria is here because Daria is a long time caver and she always sends me something for my birthday. And the thing that she sent me today we're actually going to try out here in the stream. And it is this. It is a Look Sharp pencil. So this is basically a very posh looking pencil, and the nibs unscrew and they are compressed graphite. Now, it is boasting that one compressed graphite tip is the equivalent of 100 pencils. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I mean, I've been drawing, and I use graphite a lot, and I've been drawing for nearly in fact, more than 8 years now. I don't think I've used 100 graphite pencils, so technically this should just do me and I can just stop using other pencils. Never needs sharpening as well. I'm really, really keen to try this out because you all know what I'm like, and Daria did say she would appreciate my opinion on this, so I thought we could give this a wee bash in the sketchbook first, seeing as it is Sketchy Saturday. And that would be a great place to start. The other thing that I want to do today is very similar to our last stream. I want to pick out a colour palette for another artwork. Now, I know you haven't seen the two other artworks that we did it for last time. They will be coming shortly, I promise. So this is basically like me getting ahead of the game, and I find that this is a really good time to do it because I've got people to, you know, to bounce the ideas off of. So we're going to do a bit of colour palette picking. We'll see what time we've got left after that, and we're going to go back to the graphite drawing of the Armani ring. I haven't touched it at all. I have not had time. All of my spare time, and I am not sorry at all, has been taken up playing the new Resident Evil game, which is fantastic. And it's been equal parts awesome and scare the pants off you, so I for one have been very pleased with it. So anyway, we'll be doing a little bit more of the graphite Armani ring, and again, I feel like I'll get on better now that I've got some spectacles. So overall, it's going to be a pretty good stream. I think it's going to be productive. Hopefully, it's going to be productive. So we shall see. We shall see. We shall see. I'll just catch up on the chat a wee bit here. Ulrika is having a cup of tea. It's damp and drizzly in London. Oh no, it is absolutely freezing here. but the sun, the expression we use is the sun split in the trees, like it is so sunny. I'm having light issues here. I think the top down camera is going to be a wee bit overexposed, but I literally can't shut out any more light. I've got the blind down and all the rest of it. So we'll see how that goes. So I'm really sad for you because like it is such a beautiful day here. I went out on a big long walk with the dogs earlier and it was just glorious. It was lovely. Lovely, lovely. Ulrika's got bluey purpley frames. We might have to have a spec gallery in the Discord for everyone to just show their classes. Yeah, cows are a lilac tortoise shell and readers are just plain old purple. I'm all up for purple. Ooh, fancy pencil. Polygavers is always good. Well, you nearly didn't have a dormouse because everyone was basically Switzerland and sat on the fence, Ulrika. Anyway, I'm glad you made a decision. I, for one, am very much looking forward to seeing the fruits of your labour. Okay, so let's just grab this sketchbook and let's go to here. Do you see what I mean about the overexposure? I've tried fiddling with the settings. There, you can see the llama bits, but when I sit it down here, it's like, oh. Right, so yes, that's what we're going to do. I feel very distracted today, and I don't know why. I've tried to get a lot of things done with it being Saturday. A Saturday morning's the time where I tend to like try and catch up on all the chores and things that I couldn't or didn't do during the week, like it is a catch-up day. So adding a stream onto that as well, it's actually been quite a busy day. And I think that's why I'm a bit sort of like, ooh, I feel like my brain's kind of going pew, 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 pew. Anywho, let us stick ourselves over here. I was going to talk about the paper in this, I'll do that after. I tell you what though, this is the Moleskine watercolour sketchbook, for those of you that aren't aware. And the paper's lovely in it, but I'll tell you one thing I'm missing. See the fact that there isn't you know, like a ribbon bookmark. Nearly every sketchbook I've had for I don't know how long has had one of those, and I'm really missing it, and it's not something I thought I would miss, but I am. So there you go, just another observation. Do you see what I mean about there's like a cast shadow coming over? That's the light from the window and I can't do anything about it. So I'm terribly sorry about that. Right, let's take a look at this bad boy. So yes, let's see what it says on the back. Look sharp, graphite pencil. Never a dull moment. Compressed graphite tip equals 100 pencils, and you get 2 extra tips as well. Well, that means you've got 300 pencils. That should last you until you die, surely. Never needs sharpening. Keep pencil capped when not in use to protect the graphite tip. Okay, that makes sense. And this is designed by Snifty Pen, which is a New Jersey company in the US. So, okay. Scan for a video of this product in use and other fun snifty stuff. I kind of want to do that. I'll not do that now, just in case there's any copyright issues there, but I think I might scan this later. Hey. Yeah, there's no... You would think for the price of these sketchbooks, Ulrika, it would have a ribbon, and it just doesn't. This looks really fancy. Oh, alright, so the nibs screw in. I can see there's a really fine like screw thread on them. Let me just get zoomed right in there. I hope you can see that. I might have to pop one of these out. See, the light's terrible today. Oh, oh yes, I saved it with my ample bosom. Right, hopefully you can see there is like a screw thread on that. This is really difficult to... There we go. So they do screw in. They kind of look like the tips you would put on like an Apple Pencil or any other tablet pencil. That's quite interesting. We've also got what I'm assuming is an eraser. It's a big triangular eraser. Ooh, oh, that's nice. I really hope this is a good eraser because it feels like it would be good if it was. Being ample has some benefits. Yeah, well, that's probably one of the only things that I'm good at repelling things. Right. So here is the actual pen. It feels very posh. I have to say, it feels kind of posh. So I'm assuming then that this... Oh, okay. So when it's closed, it does look like it looks like a sort of what I would call an executive pen. You know, the ones you would see like suits having like tucked in their top pocket, which is something I never used to do because my boobs were always in the way. But that looks quite sort of high end. Ooh. I had an ex who tried to store M&M. Store M&M? M&M's there. Oh, M&M's. Well, but I store things in there accidentally and then don't find them till I go to bed at night, put my pajamas on. Danny's like, this is exciting. Okay, yeah, so it looks very nice, and you all know, like, I'm a sucker for like manufacturing quality and heft, and that, like, it feels heavy. It feels like a really good quality pen. Whether or not I want that when I'm using graphite, that's up for debate, because generally the answer is no. It does, like, especially with the lid on. Let's take the lid off. There is quite a bit of weight in the lid, but this is heavy, but with it being shorter, it doesn't feel as if it's like waggling about as much. Right, okay, I'm assuming it's going to be HB. I always make the assumption it's HB until proven otherwise. So I want to try this on printer paper. So here's a little scrap that I've been using for all sorts. This has been in the wars. But also want to try it on this cold press watercolour paper as well. So let me start on here. Okay. It feels lighter. Let me just get you on the old manual focus there. It feels lighter than an HB. Look how light those pencils show. I suppose we should have a comparison here, shouldn't we? The old IKEA museum pencil. This is an HB pencil, so I'll use similar pressure and similar strokes, so you can see the difference there. This is undoubtedly an HB, so it feels lighter than an HB. It might be closer to an F pencil, you know, the ones that I like to use for my sketching and my outlines. I should have one of these right here. Yeah, so here's an F pencil. Right, let's just label this so that we know what's happening. So that's an HB, and this is the I'm just going to call it the Snifty. I think that's a good name for it. So here's an F pencil. Again, same sort of pressure. Yeah, I would say it's closer to an F than an HB myself personally. As I say, this is just printer paper. Like, this is bog standard, you know, nothing exciting kind of job. Okay, so I feel like I don't know how, like, because obviously the nib's going to wear down eventually. So I don't know whether as we're using it, like, we need to keep turning it. You know, if you sharpened a coloured pencil and you're working away, eventually you have to rotate it slightly because you've worn down, like, one side. But if it's boasting to be the same as 100 pencils, I would imagine that would be a very slow and gradual process that we wouldn't really have to worry about. Right, okay, so let me just... It's quite smooth going over the paper though. It doesn't feel particularly, you know, with it being compressed, it doesn't feel like grainy or anything like that. But I just want to see what happens if I start layering it up. It does feel quite scratchy though. You know the way, like, if you tried to do this with like an H grade pencil, that it kind of feels more like that. But if I continue to work away, now bearing in mind this is printer paper. That's actually not too bad at all. It tells you to rotate, does it, Cal? Well, it might tell me that in the video if I scan the QR code. I mean, that's not bad. Right, at this point I'm conflicted because the actual weight of the pencil feels really nice. But when you're using it on the paper, the only way I can describe it, like, in a tactile sense, is it feels scratchy and thin, and I hope that makes sense. Like, there's nothing creamy or like generous feeling about it. It feels quite frugal and scratchy. Oh, hi Jan. Just here for a while today as I'm off to the theatre, and she's away to pick up Irene has her friend. I'd like to explain a little bit about Irene without giving too much away, Jan, in terms of personal information. It's a very interesting little circle we've got here because Irene is Jan's friend, and Irene was a vet, and I referenced one of her scientific papers in my dissertation, which is kind of weird but kind of cool at the same time. So yes, this is the revered Irene. Well, I hope you have a good time, Jan. But I'm assuming you've got a wee while to stay and hang about. Um, yeah, Ulrika, that's what I'm thinking. It might be more of an H. I'm trying. I don't really keep H grade pencils. Remember when we cleaned out my little what was it? April called it Lazy Susan. I don't think I kept any H grade pencils because I really don't use them. Let's have a wee look and see if we can find a comparison here. Though there's a 2H. How exciting! Hmm. Maybe it's a 2H. But this is doing okay. Right, I want to try on here though because this obviously this is tooth on it, so it'll take more. It will take more. Yeah, it's really weird, Cal, but it was really cool at the same time. I haven't like read her stuff extensively because a lot of her work was on canine things, and obviously I'm livestock, I'm agricultural animals. Off to Bradford to see the Hamlet. That's right. I hope it's good, Jan. I hope it's good. I really do. Right, so let's try it on this paper. Well, I can tell you straight away that feels much nicer going down on that than it does on the printer paper. But that's quite a dark line. I was pressing quite hard there. I feel like this would be great for hatching, just with it being a little bit more firm. Obviously, if it's compressed graphite, it's going to be firm, isn't it? Can I... But see, look on its side. It looks okay on its side as well. And again, if I press a bit harder, it just doesn't feel particularly nice under the hand when I'm doing this, but like it's doing a job there, look. I don't know what to do with this. I'm like, huh. Looks like an anomaly. Right, I need to put this juice, but I've got juice everywhere. Just enjoy my Jack Daniels and Pepsi minus the Jack Daniels. It's very strange. I say it's not terrible. It doesn't go, I tell you what though, because see if someone said to me you can only have one graphite pencil and you have to do an entire drawing with one graphite pencil, I would choose a 2B. So I just want to show you all these graphite pencils floating about already. So much fun for a Saturday afternoon. I think we've got it's a pencils floating about here, but where's I have about 42 B pencils. There's one there. Right, okay. Yeah, so just I feel like a 2B gives you, like, if you press really hard and layer it up, you can get a substantially dark, but if you again, another Scottish expression for you, if you call canny, that means if you behave yourself and have some decorum. You can get some really light tones as well. So I feel it's the most versatile grade of pencil if you've only got one pencil and you want to get contrast. I can't get anything near that with that, like, no matter what I do. So if you were going to market this as like an all-rounder, then maybe not. If you're going to market it as a posh pencil for people that generally work in pen, maybe like, do you know who this would appeal to? Architects. Not that architects draw much by hand anymore, but they're the kind of people that might appreciate this and it'd still look posh in their briefcase or in their laptop case or in their breast pocket or something. So, yeah. The other thing I just want to check is how smudgy we are. But this is going to bring me to the next point about this sketchbook. I was going to say the complaint. It's not a complaint, it's an observation. But if I show you the 2B, like, I'm barely tickling that and you can see that starting to stretch out and smudge out. Like, yep, no problem. All good. And this part, yeah, I'll use a clean finger. It is smudging. I'm having to press a little bit harder. It does smudge out though, to be fair. So it's still behaving like graphite. Hi Patty, how are you? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, maybe not the intensity that I would like. So let's test out the eraser. Again, I want like a control for this. So get the old grubby. I keep saying I'm going to replace this. I'm not going to replace it. I want something a bit cleaner though. Let's use the Little Tombow Mono Zero. This is the rectangular one, if you remember, which is, it's actually one of my favourites. It is a tinier version of the Derwent Slim Eraser that I use. Like that. This is like the daddy one, and this is like the baby one. But what it lets me do for demonstration purposes is run a very, you know, limited line through. So that's through the 2B. Oh, that's erasing beautifully. Oh my goodness, that is such a clean line. Look. Okay, so it does erase really well. Does the eraser that they give you with the pencil work as well though? I'm always a bit suspicious of black erasers. I don't know if anyone else feels the same way, but I'm gonna use a corner. Ooh! Okay, so we've got a little bit of eraser dust there, if that's what you want to call it. That's a oh, okay, that's I like this too. I like the fact that it's triangular. We do have to do a bit of, but in terms of actually being an eraser, ta-da! Can't complain at that, can you? A patio with two T's. That was hilarious. Oh, that's so funny, patio. Too many eyes, not enough T's. Oh, Patty, it's 10 degrees going up to 12. That's quite a jump in the right direction. Your temperatures are like, well, they're higher than ours now. That's random. I'm assuming there isn't meant to be a minus before that. Okay, so you got a cool eraser. But no, like, I think, right, I need to finish off what I'm saying about this. I'm getting distracted here. But yeah, I think, like, see for a drafting pencil or a sketching pencil, I actually think that I quite like this, because initially I was like, oh, it's like the F pencil that I use. I would like 100% use that for stuff. And I kind of like the fact that you don't have to sharpen it. The only thing for me is it's going to get really grubby in my pencil case, which is where I would want to have it if I was going to use it for stuff like that. But I also feel as well, like, see for thumbnail sketches and stuff, it would be just the job. And the fact that you can protect it and you don't have to sharpen it. So it actually might be a good pencil to take if you're traveling, and you want, you know, if you've got limited space or you want to carry a very limited amount of supplies. It's heavy though. So yeah, I can't say I'm unimpressed with it, and I feel like the build quality and everything is really good. I think if, like, and the thing is for me as well, and you all know this already, but I mean, my sketchbooks are mostly brain farts, so this might actually be just what I need. This is it's called the Look Sharp. We've been calling it the Snifty pencil because that's the company that makes it. It's compressed graphite, Patty. Daria sent me this for my birthday, so we're just doing a wee quick review of it. So that's kind of how I feel about it so far. But even there, like, it looks like a bona fide pencil, doesn't it? So yeah, I don't know. So yes, Daria, I think this was very interesting, and I actually think I would use this. I would actually almost just have it clipped to this sketchbook. My only complaint, I think, is it doesn't have an eraser built into it. I think that's the only thing. Like, see if we could have this like squeezed onto the end of the pencil, the way you have on most retractable pencils. I think that's the only thing that could possibly make this better and make me want to use it more. According to Amazon, it's HB. It's no more HB than flying in the air, Cal. I appreciate that you're looking that up for me. Thank you. Definitely not HB. Okay, let's just see if we can, you know, confirm that. Well, right, okay, it's a pencil. Let's put it up against the cave pencil. The cave pencil is an HB pencil. Look at me getting all high and mighty and proving a point here. This is not an HB pencil. Look at the difference. You know, I was saying about it feeling thin and scratchy. Look how that's gone down. Look how much of the texture of the paper you can see with the It's a Pencil pencil. So if you want to look at that and tell me that's an HB pencil, be my guest. But I can tell you it's not, because this is a... Cal likes to prove a good pointy point. Well, that is a very good pointy point. All hail the cave pencil. Daria got it from a public broadcasting catalogue. So it's quite possible that the description on Amazon's a load of rubbish as well, to be fair. It's entirely possible. Anyway, no, I genuinely think, because like, see, for sketching outlines and stuff, I think that's going to be really good. Like, there's a huge part of me that's like, oh yeah, you're going to use this. It would be for those half-cocked ideas, which, I mean, let's face it, I'm full of them. Maybe not so much in this sketchbook right enough, but, well, yeah, in this sketchbook already. So stuff like the dragons, and the dragon that's kind of a dinosaur, that's kind of a lizard, and, you know, the thumbnail and stuff, like, this is perfect for that. So I actually think this may become a companion pencil. But it's definitely... The downside, so Patty's talking about her weather again. The downside to this is suddenly warming, is flooded. Yeah, so basically you're gonna be swampy for a little while. It'll sort itself out though. You'll be okay, Patty. It's got to be preferable to all the snow you've been having though, surely. So yeah, anyway, that talking about the smudginess, that's the next point. When we did the last stream and I was looking at thumbnails and one thing and another, I'm emming a lot today. Because of the fact that this is cold press watercolor paper, the graphite is not it's not faring well just in the operation of a sketchbook. I don't know how much you can see, but there are loads and loads of smudges from this coloured pencil here. There's like blue transfer, but basically everything's just getting squished about. I sprayed this side with fixative after the last stream. There should be nothing going from there to there. Now, granted, I've just leathered, you know, that page, like hammered it in various places. But the amount of like graphite noise and just grub that's hanging about, this is not ideal for graphite. And I appreciate that it was never meant to be. I just feel that the paper is a little bit too textured. And this is part of my dilemma, because I really, really, really like the Sea White watercolour journals. I'm just going to go and grab it. Mine's just over here. How am I grab it? Somewhere. Oh, it's here. Silly gem. Okay. So, these are very similar, but this is obviously also watercolour paper. But the texture's very similar as well. And I see, in my mind, I kind of want to start using these just as my overall, you know, like all-rounder kind of sketchbook. And the problem for me is, though, I do use a lot of pencil, and I think that this paper's just a little bit too textured, and there isn't that much of a difference between the paper in this one and the paper in that one. So it's kind of started to put me off that idea. But anywho, yeah, I'm just really not so sure about this. I'm just so keen to get to one sketchbook though, because I don't use my sketchbook that often. And while this is really nice to just have like the painty things in here, because I do end up with pretty things in this one. Whereas in my other sketchbooks, I really don't have much of a finished anything. And we even did a wee video that was testing out the Talon's. That was a cheap gouache. But, you know, like I make much more of an effort to have finished pages, and I don't really want to... I don't want to lose that, but, you know... I've just got a peach page here. I've not actually done anything, but look, I've got a ribbon. Yes, so it's kind of put me in a bit of a quandary, honestly. and it's made me kind of like rethink what I'm doing. Do I just have like an everyday sketchbook like I've been doing and just have two sketchbooks? So I don't know. I am open to any personal experiences or any opinions on that. I just feel that this paper's it's just a bit too rough. And let's use the Daria eraser and let's see if we can take off some of this round the side just while we're here. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. I'm just very, very, very unhappy about this. And I feel like finishing this isn't really going to be all that helpful. Like, I feel as if it's just going to end up like smeared all over this other page. Clean it up a wee bit. I mean, you're always going to have a bit of transfer, especially like I tend to, down the side of the hand. You're always going to get a wee bit of that, but this has literally been sitting closed since the last stream. And it's almost as like the Graphite's just at a party itself. It's like the two pages come together and gone, blah, let's have some fun. Woo! So I've got lots of brain farts about that, and I've clearly got lots of things to think about in terms of sketchbooks. But yes, so again, I'll spray that with fixative because we've done a lot of smudging, blah blah blah. So that's my official opinion on that. We're going to leave that to the side just now in terms of reviewing it, but I am going to continue using it, so we're not literally putting it to the side, but we're figuratively putting it to the side. I'm going to put this eraser back in here just now. You put a piece of tracing paper or greaseproof paper between the pages. That's fine, but you do realise it still smudges. It just smudges onto the tracing paper. And it also makes your sketchbook very fat as well. Oh, I've dropped a nib. Oh no. I squish that back in there. Stay there. I've just got Jock in with me, and he's in he's sleeping in an odd place, but everything's getting very odd with him. He's doing things at strange times, and he's not really himself anymore. But he's happy. He's quite comfortable, I think. Right, okay, so let's stick with the... I only have it between the page I'm using and the one before. Well, again, I'd still have to have multiple sheets, and then when you take it away, it's still going to transfer. I used to use a piece of cereal box. Because why not? Why not? Well, see, the problem is as well, though, because I use mine for thumbnails, I'm often referring back to it like 5, 6, 7 weeks, months later. And I don't, especially if I'm going to do something like this, I don't want it destroyed, because that's what's going to happen. I see, just look at the... Anywho's. But I knew that I was going to have to go through this process. Like, I knew that was going to happen with this, and I just wanted to try this out because it would have been rude not to. I wouldn't pay... I can tell you right now, I wouldn't pay the money for one of these. I wouldn't buy one. Especially when I can have the Sea White watercolour journal, which are so similar, and you get a ribbon for much, much less money. Like, I would rather have one of those personally if I was going for that type of paper, because the paper is very similar. Definitely better value for money with the Sea White ones. And coincidentally, it just happens to sell these in the Stash shop. You okay? So it's good though, but it's taken time for me to kind of like form this opinion. And obviously you've got to try different things in and see what happens. Right, okay, so moving swiftly on, the next thing that I want to do is pick out a colour palette, and the subject matter is it's actually a location on the farm where I live, and I'm a little bit obsessed with it, and I want to paint it and draw it and sketch it like from lots of different angles and different colour schemes as well, just to see what it looks like. So basically we have a track, and there's like a grass... Helps if you can see what I'm doing. We've got a track, and there's a sort of grass verge either side, and then there's gigantic trees, like really, really old trees that run either side. At the bottom, there is like this The path curves round to the left, so it disappears in that direction. Well, actually, that's a lie, it forks, but that fork goes into a field, you know, so there's nothing exciting going on there. And so, anyway, here, this is really interesting, but it is. There is an old tumble down wall, and there's a door, so it's like a gate that goes. And there's no path there though. This is grass. Like, this is a grass verge. So it was never meant to be like a throughway, but everything's really old, so I don't know when this was put in or whatever. So this is an old wooden gate, and if you speak to the people, bearing in mind I've only been here 2.5 years, if you speak to the people that live round about, they call this the green door. See if it's green. It hasn't been green for at least 1 billion years. It's like old knackered rotted wood, you know, that sort of greyish brownish colour that's been bleached by the sun. That's what it looks like. It's never been green and it's puff as far as I'm concerned. But there is this door. And in the summer, there's a few bits and bobs, like little sort of bushes and trees and things here. For those of you who are in the Discord, the impatient branch that turns in the autumn, it's located here. So there's this little tree here. And in the summer, this whole section here, it just explodes, and there's just foliage everywhere. And it gets to a point, if I want to go through the green door, I've got to kind of like fight my way past stuff, like, you know. And then in behind the wall, there's trees either side as well. So I'm like, I really want to paint it as like an Alice in Wonderland. When I say Alice in Wonderland, I mean the original Disney animated version. None of this Tim Burton rubbish. Um, if you think of if any of you have ever seen that film, it told you would. Everything's very dark, and then there's all these sort of like pinks and, you know, like jewel colours, and the trees are all lit up. I really want to do something like that with it. So if it's part of an estate, perhaps it for his walled garden. Well, this is the thing, Cal. Well, I think it should lead to Fairyland. I don't understand why it's there. Like, I don't get it, because I'm not going to give out the layout of everything else. But basically, when you get to the other side of that, it's a path that winds down to an area which is it's just into a field. And there's a burn that runs down the side as well. So I don't know whether it was used instead of having to like tramp round like to because this was obviously an estate wall at some point, because it's a proper old fashioned wall. And I don't know whether it was maybe for people that were taking food or anything, because it's a pedestrian size gate. Like, you would struggle to get a bicycle through it. And even if you were on a bike, you're not getting over the tree roots and things. Like, the path on the other side of this is like that. And it's up and down like a yo-yo. So unless it was just to take supplies down to workers in the fields, or maybe it was like, you wouldn't even walk cattle up there, because you wouldn't put a door on it if you were going to walk cattle or shit. Like, I don't understand. The only thing I can think about is there is an old, what was originally an old church, but it hasn't been a church for like centuries and centuries and centuries. The church isn't, like, it's not directly opposite that door, even if you keep walking, like, it's a way off to the side. So I don't know whether that was just like a clandestine route to the I don't know. Like, my brain's like farted all this out of my ears at least 3 or 4 times. But anywho, so what I would like to do is create this sort of like mysterious green door when everything's in full bloom. So the door's kind of like partially obscured by what's going on. So I was kind of thinking I still want like a bit of a lead up. And then, you know, get in the fact that that goes like this, and then we've got this sort of grass verge here. And then we need to put the wall in, so it's kind of tumbled down, like it's crumbled away on one side. and the door slightly offset to, you know, where the path curves round. But I think for aesthetics, it would be better if it was in the middle. So we would have the door like there, and then the wall comes here. And then basically I just want all the foliage to like encroach either side. I think if you find out the truth, it would ruin it. Well, the problem is I can't find out the truth. I've spoken to the oldest surviving member of the community who just happens to be... No, when I said original version, Jan, I didn't mean the book. I meant the films. Obviously, the Lewis Carroll one is the... Ugh, don't wind me up. Stop it. Mystery door, impatient branch that belongs to a different world. Yep, gateway to an alternative dimension. Yes, so the oldest living being in the area just happens to be our gardener. For the estate, I don't mean my personal gardener. And Jim's about 100. I don't think he's quite 100, but he's really, really old, and he remembers things. So he remembers when this house was built, and he can tell us all about these things. And he remembers weird stuff, like he can tell Mr. Jem where all the original stone drains are in all the fields, which weirdly aren't on a map anywhere. So he's been really helpful for stuff like that. So I asked him about the green door, and he basically, like, I was expecting this sort of like plume of knowledge to come forth, and like for him to have like a total like brain fart and reminisce and tell me all these wild stories about this door, and he's like, I've got no idea. To say that I was disappointed is like an absolute understatement. I was like visibly deflated. I'm like, oh, is that it? Is that all you've got? And he's like, yeah, I don't really know anything about it. Oh, for God's sake, like, what? You're useless. So yeah, that wasn't much help. So with that in mind, so I almost want to create like a kind of vignette type thing. So if I was to kind of, now whether that's an actual colour or whether that is in foliage, or we could maybe combine the two, but I want that to feel quite, say, like enclosed. So if we have to have everything like coming in here, then that might be a way to do it. And then there's this, obviously this little door's just doing its thing. I do feel like the door should be green, just because everyone else calls it the green door and I've never known it as a green door. But if I do that, then I'm limited as to what I can have in the colour palette, because obviously I want it to be a cohesive colour palette. So let's get some colour pencils out now that I've explained what I'm doing. Weirdly, I've got my really posh pencils out beside me. Oh, my posh pencils. These don't get out very often. In this pencil case, which is the one with the flamingos and pineapples and things on them, I keep my most expensive pencils in here. So these are the ones I use for commissions. Don't really use them for anything else. So that is the Derwent Lightfast pencil. So I've got them on one side, and then I've got the Caran d'Ache Luminance on the other side. I say they're just to hand, so I'm quite happy to use them just for what we're figuring out here. So I don't know whether to take like a traditional route with this or like do the complete opposite. Traditionally, things on farm estates that have been painted green tend to be like a British racing green, or like quite a dark green. That's too olivey. Yes, that's too olivey. I bet it is olive. Oh, specs on. Right, here we go. Specs on. I've got to read really tiny writing now, so let's see if this helps. Oh, it really does. Well, I don't know why I'm so surprised by that, but that really does help. Moss green. Oh, that's ridiculous. I think this is going to be too... right, so this is dark phthalocyanine green. That's a bit dark. Although that might actually be closer to the type of green that I'm talking about. Yeah. It's ridiculous that I'm in like a super expensive set of pencils, and I'm like, no, that's not the colour I was looking for. Revelation of actually wearing reading glasses. it's so good, honestly. I'm like, it's not that bad. It's not going to help that much. Yes, it does. Yeah, the irony of this isn't lost on me. The colour that I want isn't actually isn't actually here, and I'm not starting pissing about blind. Oh, dark English green. That might be close to British. No, that's far too vibrant. Okay, if we could go somewhere like halfway between here and here, we might be somewhere close. Again, I'm not going to reveal what medium I'm doing this in, because you are going to see this, like, you're going to see this as a process and as a, like, as an artwork on the channel, so I don't want to ruin things for you just because you all have been good enough to come into a stream on a Saturday afternoon. I just feel that's like really dirty. Like that colour really is too dark. Let's go into the Derwent pencils. Although that's getting close to what I was looking for. Yeah, okay. A little bit of layering does us good. Let's go into the Derwent pencils. I feel like they might be a bit more helpful because the greens in this set are absolutely fantastic. Please me, I have maybe. Well, they've actually got racing green. Okay, they haven't called it British racing green because that's too hard to fit on a pencil. But yeah, this is actually racing green. Yes, so it's a little bit lighter than this one, a little bit less dirty, but not much. I would still say that's too dark, personally, for the... I love how I'm fixating on finding this actual green that nearly every farmer in the land... Oh, there we go. Mountain green. Mountain green is the winner. That's the colour. You will see barn doors, you will see gates, you will see weird doors that are not gates and stuff. Mountain green. Well done, Ulrika. Yeah, but it was wrong. It was just wrong. It's just a bit on the grubby side. I'm glad we got there though. This is the colour. This is like... I'm just going to call it Farmgate Green. In fact, I'm going to contact Derwent and tell them they need to change the pencil colour name to Farmgate Green, because that's... And that is universal across Wales, England, Ireland and Scotland. That's not just a Scottish thing. There's another colour as well. I call it rusty red. But farming's a bit... Because farming green could be fields, Jan, and that would also refer to John Deere tractors, and there's lots of farming greens, but that is specifically the we paint gates and doors that colour. Sometimes window frames as well, but that's kind of gone out of fashion now. There's like a rusty red colour that everyone uses as well. So the three main options is this green, the rusty red colour, or black. Like if you're looking at farms that are quite well kept that keep up with things like that, it tends to be on those three, because that's the three cheapest colours you can get. It's all good. Right, okay, so I feel like that's the starting point. But the question is, so do I stick to greens and yellows then? Is that what we're going to do? Because that just, see, I don't know, that seems a bit boring, honestly. Okay. I'm going to put these illuminants, I'll just tuck them away just now, I'll put them away properly later. Right, okay, so I'm going to use my shifty pencil here. Snifty, not shifty. Yeah, it's a bit shifty. So this is the one that we want, and that is Mountain Green. So Derwent Light Fast. Just in case I need to find it again. So, I mean, yellows, I just feel like this is going to be such a boring palette if I do this. Because I'm going to have a light source somewhere. Everything can't be completely dark. Are you suggesting that farmers are tight with their money? Never. It's not green now, so it would be better if you didn't make it green, so grass in a flower shop. Well, this is what I'm thinking, Janet, and I'm trying to decide That's exactly the point of this entire exercise. Like, weirdly, like something saying like purples and pinks to me. Because I'm thinking about the wall is made of stone, so you could have like greyish, lilac-y colours for the wall. And then you could make, I mean, you could make the door that colour, but you could have the pathway like do you see what I'm saying? Like I'm just, I don't know what to do. And because I was thinking like I might want to like backlight in behind the wall, you know, as if maybe like someone's having a fairy party or something. So this section in here, if you're interested, this is Heather. Right, we're doing Mel on the theme here. Obviously lucky Scottish Heather, but like if you had a kind of purpley colour in there, um and then you could use like a purplish grey or a lilac-y grey might be a better term, on the walls here. Or you could even make that pink in behind there. Do you see what I mean? Like this is like brain farting away here. Okay, so let's say that's pink in behind there and make the walls like a lilac-y purpley colour. And you could make the track a greyish, or you could, excuse me, you could just make the track purple if that's what you want, like a dark purple. Look at the other violet. Yeah, so you could have the violet for the path, and then you could just use like really dark, like deep muted colours. So that would make the door stand out because the door would be the only thing that's green. And you could do everything in dark purples. I could use a lot of indigo as well, which, you know, like for this foreground, you know, if we're going to make it like a vignette style, not to be confused with spaghetti style. So we could literally have the green door as the only thing that's green. And if you, let me just get my colour wheel so that I can help explain myself here. So, a wee bit dusty. Right, okay, so if we talk about a complementary colour scheme, if you go pinky purpley, but if you go purple like slap bang in the middle of the purples between red and blue, it takes you to yellow. But if you head towards the pinky purples, your complementary colour is green. Is that what we do? What about a nice royal imperial purple? Oh, that sounds fun. I did a sketch of a bothy once and I liked the fact it was a neutral colour to show, yeah. But that's why I've not made any decisions on this, but I thought that would be a really nice way, just because everyone refers to it as the green door, I could honour that and still have a colour scheme that's not going to look ridiculous and minging. Very professional. So there's that lilac-y colour. That other pencil used, the pink one, was the magenta. I'd probably go for something a little bit less offensive than that, honestly. And then I've got the violet pencil. So yeah, I would use shades of that and just have the door green. Or we could even have, let me just take banana. It's probably not the best example. But in behind, you know, sort of emanating from this background area, we could have like a yellow colour, or we could go a yellowish green. That would probably make more sense, like a chartreusey colour. Chartreusey. We don't really have a chartreusey colour in these pencils. Gold has got a slightly green tint to it though, hasn't it? No. Wrong set of pencils, Jem. I don't have what I'm looking for here, but in the luminance we do, and this is olive yellow. Yeah, so we could have like a greenish yellow colour, and then we could just like fade that out into more like a pinkish, if that's what, you know, if you wanted to make it look like an actual light that was coming up from behind. Because obviously this, you know, that's a huge level of contrast between this colour and what we would be doing with the door. Cal would go for more of a light blue or turquoise for a magical glow. Hey, well, okay. This is exactly like, I love talking to you guys about this. I don't think I feel like turquoise is, well, I suppose. I mean, if you were going to go, like, if we talked about yeah, if we talked about tertiary color, yeah, okay, you're kind of like between turquoise and yellow and this color, but really, I mean, like that's where that corner needs to be. So it would need to be more like a bluey purple, but we could do that as well. It's not ideal for like a light color though. Okay, I'm gonna have to give this some more thought. Like all the pencil swatches. All the pencil swatches. I want it to be quite cohesive. Well, yeah, that's another good point, Cal. Like, I could have like a really pale pink colour, couldn't I? And just so it made that noise, or it looked like it made that noise. There's lots of really pale colours in this set. Oyster. That's a perfect example. I don't even know, can you guys see that? That's actually a really light lilac-y colour. And that would blend quite nicely into that heather colour look. Oh yeah, it's a shame we're not using these pencils to do it. Spoiler alert, it's not Derwent Lightfast pencils. But that would be perfect. That's a good shout, Cal, thank you. I appreciate your assistance on this matter. So yeah, do you know what? I feel like that would be quite good actually. I quite like that idea. Cal's just got an image of Madam Mim and Merlin having a magic. Yes! Yes, yes, yes. Sword in the Stone, second favourite animated Disney film after Alice in Wonderland. Very much a similar aesthetic in the Sorcerer's Jewel. Also loved that part as a child because it was all the animals, and obviously I love animals. And did I say no purple dragons? Right, okay. That's been really helpful. See if any of you are in a place where you feel like you're struggling to get your ideas to come to fruition, because that has always been a stumbling block for me. I have loads of half-cocked ideas and things that are like a concept, and I often struggle to get them through to something solid and concrete that will translate into a nice or a satisfactory finished piece. And to be able to talk to you guys here in the stream, like, I find this so helpful, and this is the reason that we've had sticker sets and, you know, all that kind of stuff as well, tote bags. If you ever struggle with things like that, I strongly suggest finding your community. Like, find your people that you can bounce ideas off. If you want to do it in here in the streams, that's absolutely fine. Join the Discord. We're always good for an arty brain fart on the Discord. Like, I really find this so helpful. So just down at the bottom here, I'm gonna put pink and purple. With a dirty great big arrow there. I think that's what I need. I think that's what I'm after. And I'm very happy with that indeed. Very happy with that indeed. Okay, once again, thank you for your assistance. I'm going to take a short break here. I'll put these pencils away and tidy up a wee bit, and then we're going to flip back over the page. I'm going to get my graphite pencils out, put my glasses back on, and we'll start doing some proper detail work on the Armani ring, and that will see us through for the next hour. So you now have full permission to talk about what you're having for dinner, what you had for lunch, what you're making for lunch if you're in Canada or the US, and I'll be back just shortly, my good friends. I've just come into the comment about boiling carrots to death and then reviving them to boil them some more. It's hilarious. I actually have something exciting to talk about for dinner tonight. We are having Moroccan meatballs this evening. So, pork and lamb mince into meatballs with lots of different Moroccan seasonings, dried apricots, and we're having it with orzo, which doesn't sound like it makes sense, but it does because it's Mr. Jem calls it fat pasta. Fat rice, fat pasta. He calls it fat rice. So, but if you have a little bit of lemon through it as well, it's perfect. So it's spicy, but not like not ridiculously spicy. Moroccan spices don't have to be super spicy. But that's about as exciting as my dinners are ever going to get when I do streams. But the meatballs are already made. They literally just need dumped in the sauce, and boil the orzo, and that will be dinner this evening. So I, for one, am quite looking forward to that because it's something that I really like. Because I like spicy food as well, and there's pasta involved, which always suits me too. That's posh for a post stream tea. Yes, it is, but it's definitely more in keeping with the way that I eat on non-stream nights. Like I like to cook everything from scratch. I like spicy food. That's the way it is here. But every time you guys, I'm like, yeah, I'm having pizza. Like stick a pizza in the oven. It's usually because like on a Wednesday, like during the week, I've got a bajillion and one things to do. But literally, when I'm finished the stream today, like that's it. I'm done. You know, my evening is my own kind of thing, so I'm quite happy to fart about in the kitchen because that's something I like to do anyway. Righty McCoho, I was supposed to put these pencils away. I got talking to Mr. Jem because he's watching a film that I'm pretty sure we've seen, and he says we haven't, and I'm like, yeah, we have. And not that it matters because I'm not, not watching it, but it was just it was a bit of a discussion going on there. Mr. Jem is also a great one for putting a film on and then falling asleep, and then telling me that we've watched it, and I'm like, no, you put it on, you fell asleep, and I turned it off. We have not seen it. Because he remembers like the first 5 seconds of it. It's quite entertaining. So we were just having that wee bit of discussion there. I was like, are you sure? Like, no, not seen it. So I've just left him to it. I'll pull these pencils back out the road. I really like this pencil case. I mean, it's very similar to all the rest of the pencil cases we've got, but it's one of the chunkier ones because there's 2 sets of pencils in it, obviously. There's a lot of sections in it. It makes it feel very sturdy. I was watching that. Yeah, Mr. Jem's not that brave. I have like, see if he manages like halfway through and then falls asleep, I will watch the rest of it and then catch him up and tell him, you know, like what happened at the end and stuff, and he's fine with that. He doesn't want to like rewatch the second half. But yeah, it's really annoying. There's been loads of times as well though. If we've been together in the lounge and he's put a film on and I'm like reading a book or something, and he's fallen asleep really quickly, I just turn it off and then like start playing computer games, and he wakes up and he's like, pretty sure that's not what was on the telly when I fell asleep, and I'm like, no, it wasn't, and I've just like commandeered the big TV in the living room. It's funny. Totally warranted, and there's no issue, you know, there's no conflict surrounding it, but sometimes I just take advantage of that, you know. Righty ho, so I'm back to my ring here. I need to pull up my reference image. Here's my phone, that'll be the closest place I'll find it. Mr. Jem has an excellent memory for stuff in films as well, though. Like I tend not, because like especially if it's like sort of like action films, Jason Statham films are a perfect example. Like once you've seen one, Liam Neeson, there's another one. Once you've seen one, you've kind of seen them all. All the superhero films exactly the same. So I tend to forget, you know, and I'll be looking at something and Mr. Jem's like, we've seen that, and I'm like, have we? I don't remember watching that. And he's like, oh yeah, we've seen that. And I'm like, no, but did you fall asleep? And then he says, no, because this, and this happened. And I'm like, oh, okay, I really just wasn't that interested. I find all that very much of a muchness. It takes a lot for a film to really stick with me now. Just for the sheer volume of films that Mr. Jem watches, which is basically every second he's not at work. And he will comfortably sit and watch 3 films back to back, whereas I'm bored rigid about 3/4 of the way through the first one. Like, I have to go do something. That's when I usually employ the Nintendo Switch and start playing Animal Crossing or something like that. But yeah, I cannot for the life of me find this picture. Oh, there it is. Right, okay, good. Having to dig. I took a lot of photographs today when I was out on my walk, just because we've got daffodils and things coming up. So I had to back up a fair bit. Right, let's see how this goes. I'm assuming that this is going to be substantially easier, and if it's not, I'm going to be bitterly disappointed. Like Cal's saying about a good trope, like, see the superhero thing. Oh my god, I am so done. I was done with it about 5 years ago. But it really is, it's out of hand now. Okay, my first issue here is in this part here there's like a weird blue reflection. And I don't want to have to go and dig out a specific pencil because I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, that's that colour. Um, I don't know whether just to. I don't really want to add colour to this though, and I'm like sitting here like, maybe. I think I'll just leave it just now. And I think I want to grab my 2B and put this under here, and I'm just going to start working away. So that's really at the plugging away stage of just trying to get everything where we want it to be, which is not always the easiest task, but really pin down those shadows and start firming up the actual shapes of what it is that we're doing. I feel like if I like breathe in the wrong direction, this is going to smudge. That's basically how I'm feeling about it. I've realised as well, see, this was kind of like testing the water for you know, how sketching would go. And I'm clearly going to struggle with the texture of the actual drawing because I've got to fight with the texture of the paper because the paper is quite textured. So I'm kind of interested to see how that's going to go as well. But it's kind of what we're here for. So this was my dent, which I'm going to put in with, trying to find 5B pen. Why can I not find a 5B pencil? There are loads of them kicking about. Oh, there's the 14B, that'll do. That's probably the darkest thing on the... I was trying to kind of zoom in on it, and it's almost like triangular shaped. And then it's got these two little sort of drag lines that come down from it. And then there's also a little part here that's not quite as severe, it's not as deep. Okay, so if I go back to my 2D now, there's 2D, 2B. We have to give this a sharp, and we're going to have to get a point-to-point on the go here. I'm hoping to do this in a number 5 in this Tagal sharpener. Have fun, Jan! I hope the play's good, I really do. When you go and see a version of Hamlet or whatever it is, you know, it can be a bit of a hit or a miss. So hopefully it's good. And you can report back to us. Right, okay, so one of the things I noticed about this dent is there's like what looks like a highlight just underneath it. It looks like a little white window ledge. So I just want to make sure that that is in there. But working with a very sharp pencil now, this should be a bit easier. Get a little bit of precision. And I really want to create this band of highlight here. That's what I want to achieve, and I'm going to do that by working on this side and this side. So you can see that big dent in the middle there. That's just what I've just put in. So I mean, I've done the legwork in terms of the actual, you know, where each section starts and stops. So it's just about spending a little time building it up. and making it look like we want to make it look. And it does come down into this area here. But we need to match this up on the other side. So the dark area is almost, it almost like hugs that little pitted bit. And it's quite light out into there. And there's quite a defined section here as well. And this is quite sort of erratic and textured. And then that disappears off down in there as well. Okay. So I feel like that's fairly accurate. This might be a touch too dark, but I'm kind of comfortable with that. Like, I'm okay with that. Because, like, must get my 14B out. Cal's problem is with movies is I notice the underlying themes and the stories that inspired it, so I know it's coming far too soon. Yeah, well, my main problem is I've usually read the bloody book. I'm getting quite annoyed now that they're starting to make films out of computer games as well, though. Because it's like, get your own source material. Like, stop stealing it from everywhere else. Write something original for yourselves. It's very, 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 very lazy. There's a few instances where the book is not better. Just my opinion, but one prime example is Harry Potter. Films are much, much better than the books. Partially, I just can't deal with the writing style, let alone the author. Well, I'm trying to think of another example where the film was better. I can think of lots of examples where the film was terrible. I'm trying to think of something else where I have to say, not better, but Fight Club, the film followed the book very, very closely. I really, 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 really liked the film. Well, I like the film and the book equally, in fact. That's fair to say. Jaws, the movie is better than the book. I've never read the book, so I can't comment on that one, but that's an interesting one. Maybe that's something I should look into. Yeah, there's been a lot, but I just wish they'd stop it. It's like, oh, we're making this computer game into a film. I'm like, just don't bother. Like, look what happened with Resident Evil. The films are terrible. They're terrible. Like, no, 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 no. Okay, so we've got this really dark part here, so I'm going to shift from a 2B. I think I might go up to a 5B or a 4B, whatever I can find. Got a 4B here, but we need to get a pointy point on it again. I am going to have to empty this sharpener. It's absolutely outrageous. It's like, it's almost compacted round there and forcing in too many pencil shavings. Oh. This is why I moved my sketchbook out of the way, because of this exact thing. Get out. Oh. Still managed to make a mess on my sketchbook, which is exactly what I was trying to avoid. Try and clean up after myself. Patty and Evie. Patty couldn't watch Twilight because vampires don't sparkle or play baseball. How do you know that, though? My favourite vampire film was... Oh, in fact, there's another one. Just when we're talking about books and films. Interview with a Vampire. The one with Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt in it. That was good. I mean, it's not like the books. I really like the books. But I watched the film before I read the books. So, and obviously had Brad Pitt in it. We are a fan of Brad Pitt, so I particularly liked that film, and I thought that Kirsten Dunst, who was just a little girl at the time, I thought she put in a fantastic performance in that film. So yeah, I've got a bit of a soft spot for that film. Also, it was one of Mama Gem's favourite films as well, so I kind of like hold on to that a little bit more now. But obviously the books are what they are, and I thought that Tom Cruise made a fabulous Lestat. I was gonna ask if anybody had seen the new series on Netflix and if it was any good, but I kind of already know the answer to that. Is that one just to not bother with then? Anne Rice was good at vampires. Yes, she was. She was indeed. Very much so. I love the books as well. Okay. So yes, in this top corner, I'm going very specifically for this. It's going to be quite tight because it helps to show the curvature of the actual ring. Now this is far too dark. I'm going to have to lighten this up. But I want to get this shape down. And I can lighten it up with a kneaded eraser. Like I'm not scared about it. But there's some really weird, and I'm assuming it's just like wear and tear lines along there. I could probably get you zoomed in closer to this. Let me just... I have to take my glasses off to look at that to make sure it's in focus. Yes, right, that's better. Good. Yeah, there's like, it's almost like there's little scratch marks that go up the way. And then we've got this weird section here. So this is around, see the area that we're saying, it's obviously the reflection of the computer screen. Again, I'll just show you here. This section here, you can see it's got an almost like purplish tint to it here. So that is this part here. But say it's got this weird sort of darker part around, which is obviously the frame of the monitor. But it's very scrappy. Like you've got to remember, like this ring is old, not antique old, but it has literally been on my hand. And bearing in mind that I've worked with animals and all the rest of it, like this is a weathered piece of jewelry. So it really shouldn't come as much surprise that it's as weirdly textured as it is. But even I'm like, oh, it's more battle scarred than I thought it was. Okay, I do feel that is too dark. So just rock my old manky kneaded eraser on it. Ta-da! Everything's fixed. She was always very devout Catholic. We're talking about Anne Rice here. But she went that she didn't agree with the church at large. I don't think I've got any of the Anne Rice books. Do you know that? Again, that was something that Mama Jem had, but I don't think because when we moved from our old house into this house, I had to severely curtail my book collection. Like I more than cut it in half. Just because we don't have the same space here. I think that maybe might have been something that didn't make the cut. Anne McCaffrey's Dragon Rider series is excellent. I think that's something my mum read. I'm not really into dragon stuff, but I'm pretty sure mum read that. I must find it. I've still got a box of her books that I haven't been through yet, so I must look that up and find out. I feel that Patty and Mama Jem have very similar book taste. Yeah, Cal, you don't need to talk to me about number of books. 500 doesn't touch the sides with me, but you've got to remember the house that I was in. I was in like a big, massive, drafty farmhouse, and I had endless rooms. I was like, yeah, let's fill them all with books. I can't do that here. I haven't actually counted my books since I've been here. It's definitely more than 500, but I haven't counted them. I am still trying periodically to like get rid of ones because I'm very guilty. Like I hardly ever reread books. So unless it's a book that particularly struck a chord with me, or it's something that I know I will want to reread, why am I hanging on to it? Like give it away and get something else and get something new to read. I kind of struggle with that a wee bit, and I'm trying to be better at that. I've noticed as well that, see my curvature here, see if I just hold this up to the side here, look, like my curve isn't curvy enough, so we need to make this bit fatter. It's not bulgy enough. I don't know how I missed that earlier, but I missed it. So I'm going to go back to my F pencil. In fact, no, let's use our snifty pencil. So I feel like that needs to maybe, because it is quite bulbous. That's maybe a bit of an exaggeration, but it is a bit bulbous. Okay, so like halfway between that. So I'm going to grab this out of this 2B again and just going to redirect my dark edge here. It's just the wrong shape. I'm looking at this the wrong way. I need to look at it that way. The curve starts like here. That's better. Okay. And then this area here. I'm just kind of like correcting my course here a wee bit. Marginally happier with that. Okay. I'm reading a lot of werewolf shifter stuff at the moment because that's what I'm trying to write. Okay, so like half research, half hobby. I get it. Also love the series by Elizabeth Peters, Egyptology, Amelia Peabody. Oh, Mama Gem definitely didn't read any of them because I would have remembered that. I am, what am I reading just now? I am reading, the Seven Sisters series. It was a series of books. It's Lucinda Riley as the author, and I was put onto them by my mother-in-law. They're okay. It's not really my thing, but it's quite sort of easy reading. It's fine, but I'm also reading non-fiction. I always usually have one fiction and one non-fiction on the go at the same time, and I'm reading A Brief Introduction to the Universe by Mr. deGrasse Tyson et al. There is a big version which it's a bit heavy going reading astrophysics just before you go to sleep, which is when I tend to read. So I thought if I bought like the slimmed down version, it's like a little pocket size version, I could still rake it in before I go to bed. And it's very interesting. I was reading about black holes last night and the Big Bang, and there's quite a lot of information in there, but it's very interesting and I'm enjoying it very much. So yeah. I'm finding that a lot more entertaining than my fiction novel at the moment. I'm quite happy to read through the fiction book that I'm reading though. As I say, it's just kind of like easy reading. And I feel that because there's 7 books, obviously there's 7 sisters, so there's a book for each sister. And I read the first 2 and I was like, yeah, okay, they're readable. I wouldn't be like super excited to find out, and I just kind of want to skip to the last one because we're like, well, okay, you know, we just want to know what happened to the last sister, and that's really because the last sister is missing. 6 of them have a story, but the 7th one is missing. So I'm like, just read the last one and it'll, you know. But that's just me being impatient. I was like, no, try and enjoy the journey. I've got the Vampire Knitting Club, the Retired Assassin's Guide to Gardening, Under Lock and Key, and the Earl and the Pharaoh. Patty's listening to Two Towers now, into the last 10 hours and still no Gollum. That's funny. Oh dear. I don't know, like everyone's reading habits are different, aren't they? But like I literally only read for about half an hour before I go to sleep, unless I'm not tired or I'm getting close to the end of the book and I want to finish the book. I will sacrifice. It has been known that I'm still awake at 2 o'clock in the morning just to finish a book. But that is really the only time that I read. Um, so I'm amazed that I get through as many books as I do, given that that's really the only time that I do it. Um, when I used to read a lot, when I had more time in my hands, I used to read 2 books a week. Um, I don't have time for that anymore. I think now I average maybe 2 a month instead of 2 a week. But that's fine, that's okay. I don't mind. I'm glad that I have that ability to do that, and I've got the peace to do it as well. Because I like reading in bed, and I like the fact that it makes me feel sleepy because I struggle with sleeping. So, anything that helps with that, I'm like, yeah, let's do that. Okay, I think I've kind of course corrected a wee bit here. I'm gonna have to sort of readjust the shadow situation because now we've got a light patch in there, and that does not belong there. Yeah. I think what I'll do is I'll take this section almost away completely. It's very light though. This is I'm sure you can see that that is a flaw in the paper. There is nothing I can do about that, which is kind of annoying. But there we go. I don't ever want to do a graphite drawing on this paper ever again. Just saying, just telling you. It's horrible. I don't like it. It's too. And to be fair, I kind of knew that was going to be the case because it is cold pressed watercolor paper. But I was just wondering how much of a tolerance I would have for it, and the answer is, everything's hard work, everything's messy, and everything's really choppy and not cool, and I don't like it. I would not recommend. Would not recommend. However, here we are. Right, okay, so I need to pull this round a bit further. And pretend that my flow in my paper isn't there. That's the other thing as well. I meant to ask, is there anyone in the chat that's listening with headphones right now? Please tell me that the sound quality is much, much better than it was a week ago. Okay, I didn't realise until I started editing videos the other day that the sound quality on the recordings was absolutely terrible. It sounds as if I was recording the audio on one of these cheap microphones, you know, the clip-on ones that you get off of Temu. I was like, what's happened? And I realised that when OBS last updated and my own computer also did driver updates, it wiped all of my filter settings on my microphone. And I was like, this sounds terrible. I'm surprised nobody's mentioned this in the comments of the videos. Like, it sounds awful. So the next couple of videos that are coming out, they sound terrible. So I apologise for that in advance. But I'm really surprised that none of you mentioned it, especially in the streams. But I'm hoping now that you've heard this, see if you go and watch the replay or watch the last video that I found, which I think it was probably the acrylic paint one. Listen to the difference in the audio. Please tell me it sounds better, because I was like, oh, that's horrible on my ears. I don't like that. But obviously, I don't often watch videos back of my own. I just deal with it in editing, so sometimes I'm not really paying attention to stuff like that. But it was really obvious, and there was a lot of background hiss. That's what made me realise. And then I was like, my voice sounds really tinny and really far away from the mic. And I realised that's what it was. I was like, dear Lord. So yeah, okay, just I'm glad I remembered to talk about that, because I was like, ah, sounds terrible. It's like, I've paid all this money for this microphone and it sounds like I paid about £1.25 off Temu. I'm a bit of an audiophile though as well. Like really good quality headphones and Cal thought it was her headphones. It's not you, it's me. Anyway, it should be fixed now. The audio quality. The audio quality here is what you should have in the videos now as well. Cal's headphones were £1.50 on TV. Oh. Oh, I can't. That's hilarious. I can see why you would doubt your headphones. That's so funny. I know Rika presumes it's her ears. God. That's so funny. Oh, you guys are something else, really. It's not Gem at all. It's my ears. It's my headphones. To be fair, £1.50 headphones off TV. I can see why you would have that doubt. That's fully understandable. That is really, really funny though. Oh god. Right, I'm gonna come down here because this is like almost this is in the wrong direction, and that's quite a dark part as well. I'm going to use my 4B first because I need to sort of get this back to the shape it should be, which is this shape. Perfect. No further notes. And I've got enough here. I still don't know what I'm doing with this bit in here. Like, I'm just not. I do have to take, I'm going to go back to my 2B. We talked about this highlight before. I can just, hopefully can just tilt that. This section in here, there is like a white flare right there, which is obviously one of my lights reflecting off. So I want to kind of work in that section. So I'm basically dancing around the bit that's supposed to be purple that I don't want to make purple. But I've got to try and get this sort of gritty texture in as well. And I think I'm going to have to be like a bit more forceful with my pencil strokes. So if I bring this, the edge of this is here. Again, I'm just trying to get my reference point correct. I think if I'm a bit more erratic with my pencil strokes, like really, you know, make them a bit more forceful. See, I can lighten them up later. I'm not pressing particularly hard, but I'm probably not as light as I should be. Which, again, not bothered. But that's going to head into there. And then we've kind of, I'm like, there's like a weird texturey bit here. And then this goes, wee. That, it makes that noise as well with the wee. It's really funny. I know that Thea's not here today. Thea and I have been playing Split Fiction, so that is a co-op game that you can play, and you can play it couch co-op, you know, if the person's in the room with you, or you can play it online, and you've got to work together to get through various things, and sometimes it's like puzzles, and sometimes it's like fighting baddies and whatnot. There seems to be a lot of sliding down things, and every time we slide down something, I automatically go, wee! And it's back to this, like, I have to have sound effects for everything, and Thea just laughs, like, she thinks it's funny. And I'm like, is that not really annoying that I keep doing that? And she's like, no, because that's the noise it's supposed to make. I'm like, good, just checking. Like, wee, wee. But that's the noise you make when you slide down something, isn't it? But it's funny how it creeps into most things. I know I do it because Ulrika likes to point out when I've made sound effects when I'm painting and drawing, which I do. But that's normally more like swishy noises, isn't it? It's more like or whereas computer games, the two main ones that I use when I'm playing computer games is ow. Normally when I get hit by something, and if you're falling or sliding or going really fast on something, wee is the appropriate response. I'm not sure if that's universal or not, but I just feel like it's like a compulsion. I have to make it known that we're having a good time. Wee! Right, I'm going to try and join this section up. This needs to be a bit more offensive as well. Not offensive, a bit more obnoxious. Also not as obnoxious as it should be. And this needs to come this way. We're bringing that in. Once I'm happy with the shading in each area, I'm going to take a blending stump. I'm going to use it very sparingly, but I am going to use a blending stump just to get the shadows to blend properly and then I'm going to go back in and put texture in on top. I hope that makes sense. And this paper is too gritty to do it without doing it that way. But you know, I've said this already, this was an exercise for me in seeing, you know, whether the paper was going to cut the mustard, so to speak. And I feel like nah. So I'm just going to kind of do what I think I can do to make it look sort of the way I want it to look. Because that made loads of sense. I know what I mean, okay? Don't judge me. Right, we've got this bit across here as well. There's this weird line. Well, that's got a sound effect as well. I didn't even know that one existed. And that kind of comes across there as well. Okay. This is one of these I would just like to point out. You know, you hear us all and it sounds like a total cliche, and we talk about trust the process. Trust the process. This looks awful. It doesn't look like anything at all. But I promise you, if you stick it out, it'll be worth it. But we're back to it looks like a 3-year-old's taking a graphite pencil into my sketchbook, and that would be completely fair. And if someone was to look at that right now, or someone like that didn't know us was to jump into the stream and be like, holy hell, what is this girl think she's doing? Like, she's not got any talent at all. I would 100% accept that at this point. But we know that's not what the finished article's going to look like, and we just have to work a little section at a time. Hi Black Rose, how are you? You've had a busy day, but to be fair, I didn't expect to see a lot of people today because it is quite an odd time on a Saturday. Oh, here's Thea as well. Hi Thea, we were just talking about you. Still working past bedpan. Yeah, but I feel like we're kind of past the bedpan stage now. But I'm not expecting this to look anything even remotely wonderful for a good bit yet. And I think that's one of the things with working with graphite. I think a lot of people don't have the patience for it. I'm not a particularly patient person, but I seem to have patience for things like this, and I don't know why. But that's... Mr. Jem always says that about animals. Like, I'm not a particularly patient person, but see, when it comes to animals, I have all the patience in the world. Like, all the patience. I have been known to have the odd bout of sheep rage, but I think every farmer gets that at some point. It's very well documented and it's very well known, and you just have to know when to step away. But aside from that, I find it really strange that I've got lots and lots of patience for some things that many other people would find tedious, and yet things that you would expect to have patience for, I have zero patience for. Black Rose, doing okay. Weather's been wonderful. I've been to Berlin and bought yourself a new bike. Oh yes, cycle to work. So good. So good. It sounds like you've had a pretty good day. That sounds like fun. It sounds like fun to me anyway. The other thing I need to do is fix this shadow now here. So let's go back to our 14B because I was having fun with that. This needs to come round to like there. Okay. And then we can... Better. That's given me a very defined line for the bottom of the ring. I felt as if the actual bottom of the ring had just sort of disappeared. It was like kind of like merging into the cast shadow. So that's, yeah, if I zoom out a little bit now, it kind of does still look like a bedpan. But you can see like this just looks like a patchwork quilt just now, and it's going to look like this for like a good while longer. It really, really is. But that's just part and parcel of it, I'm afraid. Looking forward to getting a bit more active and taking those 30 minutes a day to do something for my health and fitness again. Well, the thing is, that's it, like kill two birds with one stone. If it gets you to work and keeps you fit, why would you not do it? Obviously, it's if it's absolutely chucking it down, get an Uber or drive or whatever it is. But yeah, no, absolutely. I used to, when I worked in the city, there was no point in really driving to work, but I used to drive to work because quite often I used to have to go to like the other sites within the business. Now, if you didn't have your own car, the company just paid for you to get a taxi. So I stopped taking my car during the summer, and it used to take me about 40 minutes to walk to work, like through the city. But I really, really enjoyed it because it was nice and cool first thing in the morning. And the only downside to that is though I stopped at the pub on the way home a lot more often because I didn't have to drive. But generally speaking, I was much fitter. Especially working in the city, like yeah, I was much much fitter. Like after that than I was before because obviously a desk job you're sat down all day. But yeah, I find that quite interesting. But I don't know why I didn't think of that before. I was like, why am I even bothering taking my car when the company will pay for me to get to where I need to go? And then I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, because you stop at the pub on the way home, and any money that you've saved on fuel or mileage on your car, you've just drank in pints of beer. If you're still figuring out the streams, the early bird stream is later in the month. Yeah, it's right at the end of the month. It's the 20, I think the 27th. Is that why you're getting confused? The 7th and the 27th? Cal says she has a weird thing when I finish that if you finish something too fast, it should have taken longer. You know, I get that with like see when I was doing my dissertation and I was doing papers at university, I felt like that. I'm like, I feel like I finished that. Like, am I missing something? We're not made of sugar. Oh, 21st, not 27th. Thank you, dear. A CBC skin's waterproof. Right, I don't know whether to start. I kind of want to grab a blending stump because I'm literally I just want to focus on this tiny little bit just now. Now that you say that, I had that with tests at school. That shit, yeah. Right. Where did we not save blending stumps when we did this? So yeah, we did. But it wasn't that long ago. My brain's like noodles. Right, okay. So, to be fair, my complaint about how smudgy the paper is, that should be beneficial in this particular moment. So I'm going to have to go really steady though, so that I don't like over smudge things. Which there's every possibility it might be the case, but we're okay. Now the other thing is we've got an edge here, so I need to make sure that that's in. You look at it on the monitor. Which I've now got to do that to do because it's too far away to be worthwhile with reading specs on, but that's fine. Again, I've just got a bit of getting used to do with the old glasses. Okay, so I'm literally just letting the blending stump tickle the edge of the paper here. I am not putting any pressure on that at all because I don't need to. Like, I really, really don't need to. This needs to be a much smoother transition here though. I don't know where this dark patch came from. It's not supposed to be there, but do you know what? I'm going to leave it because it makes it look like there's maybe been a bit more rough and ready, you know, like sort of pittedness going on at the bottom of the ring. I'm not mad about that. Still want to just smooth out this. I'm much happier with the curvature here, like that's much better. It's now slightly more pronounced than it is in the reference photo, but I feel like to match up with the other side, it actually matches up quite well. So I'm kind of happy to leave that as it is. So I'm not going for photorealism here. Like, why would I do that in my sketchbook? Not that I go for photorealism anyway, because I don't have the patience for it. But there are certain aspects that I'm willing to let go when it comes to stuff like this, and ones that I will absolutely not. That is one I'm willing to let go. Okay. So Now in here, I've kind of dragged that all across, and all I want to do is shape my kneaded eraser into the shape of the highlight and just press once. Yes! Love it when a plan comes together. This is really dirty as well, I'm gonna have to clean the edge of this off. Here's my, oh there we go, there's my little bit of sandpaper. I feel like that needed a boop. 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 I'm not really into boops. Like, see people that boop their animals on the nose. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I don't like the booping. I don't know why though. I don't have anything in particular against it, but I'm just not a booper. Excuse me. Let me tickle there. Right. I don't know whether I want to touch this bit yet. This little bit here. Right, I'm literally not going any further than that. I'm trying to pinpoint where this highlight specifically is. It's like there. So this is still light, but this is like the lightest part. So when I was talking about, well, where the hell is my pencil case? There it's there. When I was talking about the Tombow mono erasers earlier, I was using the rectangular one. I'm taking the round one out now. And basically I want to just, I will go back periodically and I will keep taking that out because I will smudge graphite across that as I'm working away. Again, like you can see that this part here, like this is, I'm going to like really preserve the white of the paper there because it sticks out like a sore thumb. But as I work around that particular section, obviously I'm going to have to keep going back and fixing it and sorting it and all the rest of it. How's it going with the new glasses? We're still in the sort of testing stage, but overall much better. I've surprised myself twice already because I'm thinking to myself like, I said at the beginning of the stream, Thea, that when I went to the optician described it as a small prescription, as in my eyesight isn't that bad. And I'm like, how much of a difference is this going to make? And the first time I actually went, oh, out loud was when I got into bed and I started reading my book and I took them off and I had the book like, you know, like over here somewhere. And then I put my glasses on and instantly it was like crystal clear. It was crisp and I could bring the book closer to me and it was still crystal clear and I was like, oh yeah. And then I did it earlier on in the stream. I was like, oh. So yes, we're doing fairly well with them. Thank you. Ulrika said Thea Gem could read a pencil name earlier. And it was on the luminance pencils, no less, and everyone knows they're horrible to read anyway, and I had zero problem. That's what made me go, ooh. I was extremely pleased with myself. I really was. I was so pleased with myself. Oh, that's really funny. It's so true. But everyone I've spoken to, like, see, even before I had any eye problems, like 7, 8 years ago, the color names on the luminance pencils, they're really difficult to read. Number one, because they're tiny and squished up, and they run round the barrel the wrong way. Instead of running the length of the barrel, you know, that it's round the top, so you've got to go round the curve. And most of them are metallic as well. Some of them are in white. Like it's I don't know why they ever thought that was a good idea. And I've never liked it. Whereas when you compare it to the likes of the Derwent Lightfast, which has dark writing on a pale wood barrel. Who knew? Who would have thunk it? Thea's got astigmatism. When that changes with glasses, it makes me run into things for 2 to 3 weeks. Well, I'm just, the only thing for me is trying to find that boundary where I need my glasses and don't need my glasses. Again, I was saying at the beginning of the stream, when I'm sitting at my laptop for work, it's far enough away that I can actually do without my glasses. And if I put them on, I end up having to like pull them down to read something on my second monitor, which is further away and much bigger. And it's not worth, the putting on and off, because I can just push my laptop slightly further away and I can see fine. So it's kind of like establishing those boundaries, but also getting out the habit, because for about a year now, when I've been picking something up that's got print on it, my first reaction is to push it further away from my face so that I can read it, and I don't have to do that anymore. So I kind of need to get out that habit as well. So yeah, there's definitely an adjustment period, but it's an experience. But overall, I mean, say reading in bed, say especially in low light, it's like, oh yeah, I was like, oh, I've got my eyeballs back. I didn't know I'd lost them, but I've got them back. Right, okay. I just want to see if there's any more places that I want to smudge just now. And this section here, I just want to do some light blending out here. And I've got this shape here completely wrong. I don't know what happened. I don't know how this happened. But I need to take it. Oh, I'm all Tombow mono in here. Like, I'm embarrassment. I've actually got now 1, 2, 3 erasers plus the one that came from the fancy pencil. I just call it the Daria pencil. That's easier. So I've got 4 erasers here. 5 erasers. I've got my Derwent Skinny as well. Oh, good grief. Yeah, this should be more like of like a triangular shape. So let's cut that, like cut into that bit there, because that almost goes to nothing. Oh, I've kind of done it just with the eraser. I don't need to add any pencil to it. Yeah, you love it when that happens. So you know how when I'm doing colouring pages all the time, I talk about breaking things down into sections. Like a lot of people used to tell me that when you're doing a sketch, it's really important that you move around and not like fully render one entire section, because it can make your drawing look disjointed. And if you make a mistake, if you've taken it to the point of the completion, then it becomes very difficult to fix it at a later stage. And I kind of agree with that. But see, when I'm doing stuff like this, I like to take it quite far before I move on. And I think it just helps me understand in my head what I still have to do. Whereas if I leave it kind of half done, I then don't have it as a reference point, and I talk about that a lot in colouring pages as well. I kind of feel the same way about stuff like this. I feel as if I have to push things quite far, and that's why I want these shaded areas to be absolutely right. And I will continue then that shading, and it will literally only be that, because that is a complete section. I'm going to treat this as a separate part, like the inside of it. So yeah, like I feel as if I'm kind of at the tipping point for that particular rule, but I feel like I need it so that I can envisage the finished image better. Does that make any sense? I don't know if that. Hopefully that makes sense. I try really hard to explain these things that goes on in my head, but I'm not always confident that what I'm saying makes sense to everyone else. Right, okay, so I've got these scratchy bits. I really need like a tiny blendy stump, and this is about as small as I've got, so I'm just going to try and follow my... Like, there we go. Okay. I'm actually really happy with that so far. Oh, I'm so easily pleased. I'm so happy with that. The light at the end of the process tunnel, pretty much. Like, I've got to be able to see the light. Oh dear. Right, guys, that's it. I'm going to stop there just now. I know we're a wee bit early. It does still look quite choppy. That's okay. I'm absolutely fine with that. But it's kind of looking a little bit more like I hoped it would look. Again, if I just kind of show you, so it's not really much of a comparison, but if I sit that there, can you see where I'm going to? Obviously you've got the overexposure because this is backlit as well, but my purple part that I don't want to be purple's here. I've got this slightly lighter patch just to the right of that, which is this patch in here. And I've managed to keep this edge and change the curvature. As I said, it's a bit more pronounced here, but I'm okay with that. I've got the little pitting, and then I've got this kind of like highlighted area. The only place where I haven't followed the reference photo is this bottom edge. I've allowed this shadow to come up the way. I kind of feel it helps make it look a bit more weathered. I might take it out just as I work on it, but you can see the actual shadow. So that's like, if I take that along there, you can see it actually thickens up. I'm kind of happy to leave that in just now though, because I think it looks kind of cool. I'd say that might change, but I'm quite happy with my progress today. One of the things I'm kind of obsessed about, and you can't really see it here, if I tilt that way, you can see this really weathered edge. So this is where the top of the ringlet curves down, and because it is rounded, there's no flat edges on it. That's really heavily sort of pitted and pocked, and I've been trying to get that feel in this part there. So if I pull it all the way out, it kind of makes a bit more sense. You can see how weathered the ring is. So I'm quite happy that I've kind of got that to this stage. I feel as if like I've made a bit more progress on it. But this, I mean, this is going to be slow going, but there will probably come a point where I'll sit for an afternoon. It's probably going to be after I've finished Resident Evil, honestly, where I might sit and work on a huge chunk of it at the time. Anyway, in the meantime, for the next live stream, which Thea, please correct me if I'm wrong, I think is Wednesday, is that right? I don't even know where my thingamadiddler is to tell me it's here. My thingamadiddler, my iPad. I'm pretty sure the next stream is February. No, try again, Jim. Yes, Wednesday. So yes, coming Wednesday, thank you. On Wednesday, I've done a little bit on an Ink House page, so I kind of want to work on that on Wednesday. I've also got, you're not going to like this one for those of you that join on a Wednesday, I've got a mountain of brown envelopes that I need to put the Colour Cave stamp on. I'm going to try and do as many of them as possible over the next few days, but I might have to do a bit in the stream, and I know that's not exciting at all, but it's one of those jobs that I have to do. So we may have to do a little bit of that, but I would like to get the Inktense pencils out, and also maybe a little bit more in here, depending. Really excited by that, and then come and see me on Wednesday. If you're not, I'll not be offended. There's a couple of videos coming out over the course of next week as well. So you can always catch a video instead if you're not into watching someone stamp brown envelopes. What can I say? Anyway, in the meantime, I want to thank you. I want to thank you all very much for joining me. I really appreciate it today. I know it was kind of an odd time on a Saturday to have a stream, but for those of you that turned up, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I've had quite good fun, and I've got to road test the glasses in a live situation, so that's pretty good as well. And I hope that you all enjoy the rest of your weekend. I am doing 0 tomorrow apart from shooting zombies, and I'm really happy about that. So I shall see you all very soon back in the cave. Pink on our hands for everyone. Yay! I love the pink on our hands. Good job, guys, and we'll see you soon.